of water or some fluid, because sometimes tiredness comes simply because of dehydration. How do you know that you're tired? Because you're dehydrated. You feel it. Your body feels as if you need something to drink. And then when you go to the toilet, you may find that your urine is particularly dark in color. This is a good sign that you are dehydrated and that you need to get hydrated as quickly as possible. If you are at home and you feel that overwhelming urge to simply relax and feel better, the secret is a warm bath. A soak in a bath for just 15 minutes can do wonders. It will revive you. It will help you feel so much better. And this, if it's combined with some good sleep, quality sleep, will revive you in enormous ways. You'll wake up feeling like you're brand new. Also, remember to get some me time. Me time is something very important that everybody craves. Just you and yourself doing your favorite things. Reading, writing, taking a walk, buying yourself some flowers, taking time out for yourself. Live for yourself, not for anyone at this point. If you're a busy mother, if you have to take care of other people, always get that me time. It makes all the difference. This has been Self-Care Tips, and we've looked at ways on how to get quick boosts to improve your day and your mood. I am Irene Joroge.
Tulikuwa tuna hug tu hivi. Ndio babake Abdalla na mama yake wakaingia. Kama unavyojua tayari.
Umeshtuka polepole, mimi nimeshtuka kwa ndani.
Kuwawa tena.
Yes, tokea.
Ama mapenzi yetu ni ya hapa tu peke yake, kuchezeana tu. Lakini hatuna future, si ndio?
Mtihani huo.
Genius, what's our question for people category? Genius yoyo. Hata sijasoma swali.
Wrong answer.
That answer is wrong. Hapa sasa mambo imechacha. Watu wangu mko tayari?
10 seconds to answer the question.
The only show in East Africa ambayo unaweza pata a second chance hata after umekosea. Patrick Jiro is popular for what sport? Great team. Is that the correct answer?
Wrong answer.
Aluta continua.
If you are a holder of any unclaimed financial assets, surrender all unclaimed financial assets in your possession to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority, UFAA, today without having to pay interest or penalties. Take advantage of the Finance Act 2022 moratorium on penalties and interests. For more information, visit www.ufaa.go.ke/holders. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
evening, I'm Fayaz Qureshi with the Legends Edition on KBC Channel 1. Tonight on The Living Legends, we speak to an absolute legend, Steve Tikolo, Kenya's top batsman in cricket and a former captain of the side. And our sign language interpreter for tonight's edition is Lucy Maura. First, a quick look at the highlights for tonight's bulletin.
Next week, we are going to rework the whole credit rating system because the current one is all or nothing. You're in or out.
Credit Reference Bureau rating system to be reviewed from next week, says President William Ruto. We are here to protect you. Government promises to restructure the country's security systems as Baringo Deputy Governor is laid to rest. Our products are safe. Pwani Oil Products Limited refutes claims that their products do not meet required standards. Not so lucky, it's a shaky start for Malkia Strikers in the Women's World Volleyball Championship in the Netherlands. Welcome back. President William Ruto says the credit rating system will be reviewed beginning next week to relieve Kenyans locked out of financial freedom by the Credit Reference Bureau. President Ruto, while addressing the issue of Kenya's economic status during an interview with Al Jazeera, noted that there is a lot the country can achieve by changing policies without looking for additional resources. The head of state at the same time said there is need for African leaders to have a candid conversation with the international community on the effects of climate change that have by large contributed to drought in the continent.
15 million Kenyans caught in the net of policies surrounding credit facilities could soon find some relief.
Next week, we are going to rework the whole credit rating system because the current one is all or nothing. You're in or out. And we have 15 million stranded, 15 million Kenyans stranded because of a simple decision that can be made to change, to keep the credit reference bureaus, but change the scoring mechanism so that it's not all or nothing.
In an interview with Al Jazeera News Channel on the sidelines of his visit to the United States, President William Ruto highlighted a number of measures he has already put in place in the few days he has been in the office with regards to the current state of economy.
There is a lot that we are going to achieve just by changing policy, not necessarily even going to look for additional resources. Re-engineering the use of the resources we are already using so that we can get best value out of it.
On the current ongoing drought in parts of the country affecting 3.1 million Kenyans, the head of state says there is need for serious engagements with the international community on the best way forward.
Many countries are reorganizing their budgets to provide for climate change effects rather than their development. Even areas like education and health are beginning to suffer. And so that's no longer a very simple matter.
President Ruto, at the same time, defended his move to appoint his predecessor, Uhuru Kenyatta, to the role of peace mediator.
I am now the president of Kenya. I'm the big brother now. So, and it is in my place to work with him. I think it's the right thing to do. I will not allow negative energy to be built around our country.
The president is expected to jet back into the country on Sunday after his visit to the United Kingdom for the burial of Queen Elizabeth II and United States, where he made his inaugural United Nations General Assembly address at the 77th session held in New York. Kamche Menza for the Legends edition.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says the government will restructure the country's security systems to protect Kenyans and their property. The Deputy President assured residents of Kerio Valley that the government will address security challenges in the region through dialogue and increasing police presence in the volatile area.
Speaking during the burial of the late Baringo County Deputy Governor Charles Kipngok in Solian, Eldama Ravine, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said he will bring together leaders and security organs from Kerio Valley to find a lasting solution to the region's insecurity.
Patie sisi nafasi tuweke katibu wa interior ambaye hako na haja ya kufanyia wananchi kazi. Na tufanye mabadiliko hapa na pale ya vitengo za usalama.
On the issue of food security, Gachagua hinted the government will allow people to farm in forest through the introduction of the shamba system.
Dawa ya kutengeneza Kenya ni kusaidia mkulima. Tukipata mazao mazuri ya mahindi, bei ya unga itateremka automatically.
Leaders present lauded the government for the subsidized fertilizer program, noting the increase in agricultural productivity was a timely plan to reduce the cost of living.
Jambo la mbolea imekuwa kisungumkuti kwa wakulima Kenya hii. Na tunashukuru kwa hiyo mradi ambao umezindua.
The late Kipngok died last week at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport en route to Mombasa for the Governors and Deputy Governors induction workshop. For Legends Edition, I'm Ben Troy Njue.
Pwani Oil Products Limited has refuted claims that their products do not meet the requirements set by the Kenya Bureau of Standards. The company based in Mombasa County says it has never had compliance issues. On Friday, KEBS temporarily suspended the sale of 10 cooking oil brands for non-compliance with set standards. Timothy Kipnusu reports.
A day after the Kenya Bureau of Standard KEBS suspended the sale of 10 cooking fat brands for non-compliance with the set standards, a section of the affected companies have come out to respond to the move. Mombasa-based Pwani Oil Products Limited, which has been operating for 38 years now, says it has never had compliance issues. In a statement, the company holds 4 brands, namely Fresh Fry with garlic oil, Fry Mate and Salit. Revealed manufacturing processes for edible oil and fats have always adhered to the set standards. It expressed readiness to follow the process of testing to the satisfaction of the Standards Regulatory Agency, while assuring consumers their products are safe for consumption. KEBS had indicated that the decision was not a ban on the brands, but a temporary suspension to facilitate the protection of consumers from potentially unsafe products, to safeguard the economic interests of manufacturers of compliant brands and allow the manufacturers of non-compliant brands to initiate and put in place effective corrective action under KEBS supervision. Timothy Kipnusu for Legends Edition.
An estimated 50,000 students will miss out on the Higher Education Loans Board kitty this year. The Education Board says it can only give loans to 60,000 out of 110,000 new applicants as the new year starts. As Zainab Syed reports, the board's Chief Executive Officer, Charles Ringera, says defaulters and a huge funding rollover remain a challenge.
Since its inception 27 years ago, over 1.3 million students have benefited from the Higher Education Loans Board at a total cost of 131 billion Kenyan shillings. However, the stability of the Loans Board is now on scale. For instance, this year the board had budgeted for 4.8 billion shillings, but only has 2.6 billion shillings at hand.
When you look at the TVET guys who look very desperate from where they are coming from, those TVET houses spread right down in the villages, and their cost of living is even much easier to do there, but yet we are not even able to give them even 10,000 shillings.
However, some of the beneficiaries feel the 5,000 shillings monthly interest on unserviced loans is unjust. Just like thousands others, Emmanuel Ndavula, who's repaying about 170,000 Kenyan shillings for a 40,000 Kenyan shillings loan he secured about 7 years ago, supports the High Court ruling by Judge Alfred Mabea, dated August 19th, 2022, that termed the move unconstitutional.
Time when we were applying for help, we didn't know about the hidden charges like the 5,000 they keep on adding after 4 years. I didn't know about that. And the 5,000 they add monthly, then I think it had accrued some other interest. So by the time I wanted to start to pay, you see, I had something like 172,000.
HELP Chief Executive Officer Charles Ringera says he is facing a deficit of 5 billion Kenyan shillings. Out of this, universities need 3.5 billion shillings, with vocational training institutions having a deficit of 1.5 billion.
So the small monies we have released for very critical situations is the loan recoveries, and loan recoveries come month on month. A single batch here is about 1 billion shillings. So it takes me a quarter to make 1 billion shillings in terms of loan recoveries. So the bullet capitation from government is the one that actually helps this organization in terms of quelling the noise that you get from from the student. So this year we are not even seeing us making the 66,000, for example, we are budgeted to pay. Why? Because we have gotten a surge in terms of the continuing student.
With the debt growing daily, the board has been issuing waivers on penalties that isn't being during the COVID-19 period. Out of a target of 700 million Kenyan shillings, it only managed to collect 550 million shillings, the highest recovery.
And out of that, we were able then to cut down the 75,000 students who we had already identified as vulnerable and not being funded, down to 35,000. So about 40,000 students were able then to benefit out of that COVID waiver that we actually put up there. And that has gone a long way into assisting us to be able not to throw any student out in terms of funding.
As the academic year beckons, this means more new applications. As for now, the board has new 198,000 applications, the number set to grow as the deadline approaches, set for the end of this month.
We have been given the same budget we were given last year, that 15.8 billion. That amount of money that we were given last year was predicated on a smaller application numbers. You and I know that KCSE this year was about 870,000 students. C plus and above only to go to the universities was 143,000. And to join a TVET, you have another almost 200,000 that are supposed to join TVET. Now the numbers have grown. There is a funding gap we have from last year. So what do we do this year?
As the Higher Education Loan Board works towards balancing its numbers, the board CEO says the stability of the fund is needed to avoid risking the education of many. For the Legends edition, I'm Zainab Said.
Turkana County Governor Jeremiah Lomurukai says he will not be intimidated by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission and will continue executing his mandate. Speaking a day after the ESCC indicated they will be arresting a governor over fake education papers. Governor Lomurukai accused the anti-graft agency of attempting to interfere with service delivery of various county governments. He was speaking at a peace meeting at Lokiriama in Turkana County.
Without even a vote. Even those institutions that have been harassing governors. But I'm not ready to be harassed. I will not be seeking for hideouts. At the governor of the Pichano committee, at kwa sababu kuna watu wanakuja kushika haya. Mimi utanishika kama nakaa kwa kiti. Nikimbie kwani hakuna sheria Kenya hii. Ni witness marafiki wengine walikuwa wanakimbia mpaka wanaingia kwa ile boma ya yule mama yule kabisa, mama wa chini kabisa, ya hiding from ESCC. That kind of harassment must stop. And that is the message from the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Gachagua.
And now we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in a short while. Stay with us.
All I do is win. I wake up, I win. I close my eyes, and I win.
We got a emergency, girlfriend.
Keep up with me, come on, let's keep winning till the world stops spinning. Independent women, come on, now let's get it. I'ma keep winning till the world stops.
Wow, you look great. Did you just come from the salon?
Darling Abuja, braids that stay salon fresh no matter what.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Heshima na simama.
We move from glory to glory, from grace to grace. Oh, long live excellence.
Inakisiwa kuwa utandawazi na teknolojia ndiyo chanzo kubwa au chanzo kikuu cha vifo hivi. Je, tutazuiaje teknolojia kumaliza vijana wetu?
Nakumbuka hadi chuo moja alinipiga kaa punda. Huku akidai eti mimi ni kilema. Wasee waliniita danda eti jumi si performer.
Wallahi nimeogopa mambo ya hawa watu. Anajiita msuba na ana miaka 70.
Something about your body when they hide me like I don't smoke Colorado.
Kiswahili kitukuzwe, kwani lugha ya taifa.
Welcome back. Kenyans from all walks of life on Saturday participated in the inaugural Cancer Awareness Campaign walk and run at Karura Forest, Nairobi, aimed at sensitizing children about the disease. Over 5 million shillings was raised towards treatment and awareness of cancer among children during the event held under the theme Be Bold, Go Gold. September is the Global Childhood Cancer Awareness Month.
Early morning at the Karura Forest grounds. A little warm-up for the participants in the inaugural Faraja Cancer Support Family Walk and Run. The event is geared towards creating awareness of cancer among children. Then followed the race that was divided into 21, 10 and 5 kilometers. September is the Global Child Cancer Awareness Month, a condition that is usually underreported and remains diagnosed at late stages. The race today aims to change that.
And the money we raise is going to be used to help children at Kenyatta and also at Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. Some of it will go to a medical fund.
But we have her. Tennis star Angela Okutui was among the participants in the races.
When you do it for yourself, you're actually helping other people also. So it's a good thing, and just come and do it.
They grew up knowing that they should be doing a lot of screening to detect it early now, so that if there's any way the medics can be able to terminate it or control it, the better.
For it as a way of supporting them, even if they don't know me, I don't know them, but I still supported them in a small way.
The organizers and sponsors say that this is just the first of many events they look forward to. Yusufar reporting for the Legends edition.
Cricklemas, an organization for cyclists by cyclists, is pushing for use of bicycle transport in the city as part of environmental conservation. The organization, which flagged off the September chapter of their monthly cycling event at Jivanji Gardens in Nairobi, aims at transforming Nairobi into a cycling city. In this month's cycle, the team traversed Langata and back to Jivanji Gardens, covering about 25 kilometers.
Unlike countries such as Netherlands, whereby cycling is deeply inculcated in their culture, with 36% of Dutch people listing the bicycle as their most frequent way of getting around on a typical day, cycling is not well adopted in Kenya, with cars being the preferred mode of transport. And as Cyprian Odada, the executive director of Critical Mass, explains, they are losing on the numerous benefits of cycling.
Getting people on bicycles is one way for us to solve a lot of the issues that we are having in Nairobi. There's a lot of people who are depressed, people who would like to have a healthier lifestyle, and unfortunately, making new friends in Nairobi is not easy. But when you come to critical mass, it's so easy to make a new friend.
So most days when I have had a long day at work and I ride home, it's therapeutic. It heals. It's better than a long hot shower.
Cyprian, alongside a group of friends, started Critical Mass in 2014. However, upon realizing how much they reduced the use of their cars in favor of cycling, they decided to expand with an aim of turning Nairobi into a cycling city.
In 2017, we decided to be more intentional about getting people on bicycles because for us, we saw the impact it was having in our lives. We were not using our cars as often as we were.
Today, armed with reflectors, helmets and cycling gear, the organization, which now boasts of hundreds of members, embarked on a monthly expedition. They covered 25 kilometers traversing Langata and back to Jivanji Gardens as part of their monthly ride in the city. The event is held every last Saturday of the month and is free for anyone with a bike.
First thing yenye napataga sana shida ni hakuna designated cycling lane. Napata ya kwamba barabara ndio hiyo barabara na labda kuna pali pa watu kupitia, pedestrians, but hakuna pali ambapo imesema that hapa tumetengea watu wa baiskeli. Na hata pali ambapo kuna hiyo kumetengwa hakuna continuity. Yaani unapata unaanza hapa hivi ukifika after a few kilometers imeisha, unashinda sasa utaenda wapi, inabidi umerudi kwa gari tena.
Most cyclists are calling on the government to create dedicated lanes so as to ensure their safety. Reporting for Legends Edition at Jivanji Gardens in Nairobi, I'm Samuel Karaoke.
The hearing impaired and sign language interpreters have appealed to both national and county governments to consider them in employment opportunities. The group said they should also be catered for in any arising opportunities in the two levels of government.
Just like other people with disabilities, people with hearing impairment face social discrimination when it comes to job employment and access to some government services. The group is now appealing for equality.
We are hoping that the government shall have projects and to a way that everyone shall come to understand and learn sign language.
Meanwhile, county governments have been called upon to establish shelters for the needy and elderly to cushion them against poverty.
Tumekaa na mashida mpaka chakula tupati. Kama ni mimi ningeulizwa, ningetaka wazazi wangu wakae vizuri mpaka msaada tupate wa kupeleka wazazi wangu hospitali kwa sababu sina uwezo kama hiyo.
Elsewhere, Bar Hotels Liquor Traders Association has opposed the proposed 6% tax increase on alcohol and soft drinks by the Kenya Revenue Authority, set to start 1st October. The Balita Association has, however, asked the government to review the adverse effects of such tax increment.
Us who are doing business, already this industry is crippled. And any increasement of tax, you want us to walk out of business.
In the meantime, relevant institutions have been urged to bring back the CDF kitty. In a board training workshop in Githunguri, Kiambu County, the stakeholders noted inadequate financing has caused critical challenges in running the education sector. And pharmacists from Kakamega County have urged locals to avoid over-the-counter drugs, citing an increase in health complications occasioned by frequent use of self-prescribed drugs easily available. Led by Dr. Olima Linzen, the pharmacists said there is a need for communities to be sensitized against self-prescription.
Tungependa kuhimiza wananchi wawe wakikuja hospitali wanapewa prescriptions ndio wananunua hii madawa.
Graduates from various fields and institutions of higher learning have been challenged to come up with solutions aimed at elevating human suffering and mitigating climate change, which is now a global phenomenon. The 3,553 graduates were encouraged to join the change movement as the country faces challenges such as food insecurity and drought. Finally, the national government is being urged to revive the Kazi Mtaani program to tackle unemployment among youths. During a meeting in Busia County, stakeholders called on the government to ensure the 30% policy of tenders awarded to youths is fully implemented to enable them contribute to nation building.
the Kazi Mtani project. Kenya, we are in a very economically deprived environment where cost of living is high and many of our young people becoming more vulnerable. How I wish the new administration will also pick the best practice from the last administration, especially Kazi Mtani.
Jacqueline Masharia for Legends Edition.
And now we'll take a short break. Stay tuned for the Living Legends segment. Tonight we speak to an absolute legend, Steve Tikolo, Kenya's top batsman in cricket and a former captain of the side. And Topi Lambila joins you next with the latest in sports. Stay with us.
What is PCOS?
What is PCOS?
Yes.
PCOS, as you said, is a very long name. First of all, if you can break it down, it's poly, and then cystic, and then syndrome. Poly coming from Latin meaning many, and then cystic where you have small cysts, because if you talk about cyst per se, it's slightly different. The sizes of what we are looking at are very tiny, about 10, 11 millimeters, whereas cysts in the real definition in medicine, they are a lot bigger, about 3 centimeters or more.
Maybe you could share with us some of the symptoms that you were experiencing with PCOS.
Okay, so for me, the reason I went to get a diagnosis was I was not getting pregnant.
Genius, what's our question for people category? Genius yoyo. Hata sijasoma swali.
Wrong answer.
That answer is wrong. Hapa sasa mambo imechacha. Watu wangu mko tayari? 10 seconds to answer the question. The only show in East Africa ambayo unaweza pata a second chance hata after umekosea. Patrick Jiro is popular for what sport? Great team. Is that the correct answer?
Wrong answer.
Aluta Fontimua.
Hello, sir. Good evening. And once again, it's a big welcome to the sports segment of the Legends Edition this Saturday evening. In our highlights tonight, we've got Malikia strikers stumble at the first hurdle in the World Championships in Netherlands. Arrows for Peace in Bomet, swimming gala in Nairobi, and Angela Okutoyi and Ferdinand Omanyala encourage tennis playing kids in Nairobi. Welcome. I'm Topi Liambila. The national women's volleyball team lost in their first match of their 3 sets against their host Netherlands in the 19th edition of the 24-team competition in the Women's World Championships. Netherlands national team led in all sets by 25-11, 25-17, and 25-11 respectively. Malkias are placed together with Italy, Netherlands, Belgium, Puerto Rico, and Cameroon in the same pool, who are all ranked above them. Malkia strikers are now 3 points behind Netherlands in Pool A and will face Belgium tomorrow. These are some of the highlights.
Chumba take 2. Still Dykeman's there. Bang! It's out of bounds. You knew what was going to...
We wish the girls the best of luck in the championships. Now, Bomet County emerged the top team during the two-day inter-counties Arrows for Peace archery competition that culminates on Sunday at the Jongwa grounds in Kibiku, Ngong, Kajiado.
Bomet County, which fielded a total of 8 players, topped the championship ahead of Isiolo and Narok counties, which were ranked 2nd and 3rd respectively. A total of 60 players drawn from 10 counties: Narok, Isiolo, Samburu, Laikipia, West Pokot, Tana River, Kericho, Machakos, Kajiado and Bomet took part in the event that targeted southern counties. The championship seeks to spread awareness on the need to stop cattle rustling.
I thought of what can I do to help with the issue of ending cattle rustling in Kenya, because it's an issue that has been there since independence, and I saw sport is working out, and I've seen athletics doing well, and also I thought archery sport, since it's an Olympic sport, is good for the pastoralist communities.
Players who posted impressive scores were drafted to the team that's expected to fight for slots during the trials to select a national team that will participate in the 2023 Africa Archery Championship.
What is the difference? Is they are going to shoot at 70 meters, and I would like to see what is, and their targets are raised, so I believe it's going to be a good trial for them and see what is going to happen. And then after that, we are really building that, see if they can qualify for the African Championship next year. So let's see what will happen next week on 28th.
Nairobi County Aquatic Association Secretary General Ken Karani has stated that they target to spread the sports to different parts of the county and nurture young talents for a better tomorrow. The opening round with the 2022-23 Nairobi swimming season was held at the Makini School, attracting more than 25 schools.
Speaking after today's competition, Secretary General of the Nairobi County Swimming Federation, Ken Karani, noted that there is an increase in the number of swimmers this season, and they hope to organize many competitions to promote the sport.
We're not holding swimming at ransom in Nairobi County. As the Honorary Secretary, I've just allowed people to be able to organize, let's say, development programs, which are very key to initiating the swimmers into this program.
Karani also made an appeal to the incoming CS to promote various sports from the grassroots levels.
If you see this event, it's bringing in swimmers who don't have times in all events, so that they can be able to get to level 2, level 3, and level 4. So this gala is bulky. As we climb up, it will start now going up. We want the bottom to be bigger as we go up, so that we can be able to get everyone into it.
The new season has already started, with several teams participating in the season that will end in June next year. For Legends Edition Sports, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
Now, a team of 5 runners from Kenya, best known as Sunrisers, will compete in tomorrow's Berlin Marathon to raise funds and awareness about clefts. The team comprises of dads and moms aged between 38 and 68 years old.
5 runners from Kenya will tomorrow compete in this year's Berlin Marathon, but will not be competing for the title, but rather running to raise funds and awareness about clefts, a birth condition that occurs when a baby's lip or mouth does not form properly during pregnancy. The group of 5 aged between 38 to 68 years old comprise of moms, dads and business professionals, and will be running under the name Sunrisers. They are using their love of running to make a difference in the lives of children in Nairobi, Berlin, and around the world.
Why run for Smile Train? I'm a mom, and Smile Train is helping children across the world smile. We know that children born with cleft lip sometimes have self-esteem issues, and sometimes are even hid from the public. So Smile Train has a cause to make every child smile and lift their confidence. So that cause spoke to us.
The Sunrisers will join runners from all over the world in the 42-kilometer Berlin Marathon. The group is running to support Smile Train, the world's largest cleft-focused children charity. Clefts are prevalent in Europe, Africa, and around the world.
Running for some other people, other unfortunate people who are born with an issue, and that can be sorted out. Just by doing this surgery on the cleft lips, you are changing the life of the person. You are giving him a new life. And that one is the biggest thing one can do. And I'm very proud to be associated with Smile Train.
Every 3 minutes, a baby is born with a cleft lip and or palate. If left untreated, people with clefts can face numerous health complications, including difficulty in speaking, eating, breathing, and hearing.
From the golfing circuit, over 130 golfers took part in the inaugural National Cohesion and Integration Commission tournament held today at the Kenya Railways Golf Club with the aim of promoting peace. Among the elite golfers present who took part in the event were Felix George and Samuel Njoroge, as well as former Rugby Sevens captain Collins Injera.
The Nairobi event, which marked a culmination of a series of golf tournaments organized by NCIC in other parts of the country, is a part of celebrating this year's International Day of Peace, attracted over 30 women golfers.
So generally we are seeing an increase in numbers in terms of lady golfers across the country and even in the world. So we will encourage more to join the sport. It's a good sport.
The event will be held annually under the theme End Racism, Build Peace, with the aim of bringing together golf players from different regions and communities and sensitizing them on the need of embracing diversity and living harmoniously.
We are a very well-priced club in terms of joining fees and participating in golf as a member. So ours is to continue to seek out new groups of members. We would like to do community-type activities by inviting schools to come and use our golf range.
The theme for this year is about ending racism in order to build peace. So we want the momentum that we got during this election, where people chose peace. We want that momentum to continue across the country, and we want everyone, including golfers, to be part and parcel of that process of building durable peace in Kenya.
Among elite golfers who took part included Felix George and former Rugby Sevens captain Collins Injera.
It's always a great pleasure to see international stars coming back home to encourage the young sports going students here in Kenya. And this was done today where junior Grand Slam winner Angela Okutoi and 100-meter Commonwealth gold medalist Ferdinand Omanyala have encouraged parents and teachers to always be positive and support kids in their talents, citing that this will in turn be beneficial to the kids. Speaking after an interaction session with the kids at the Nairobi club, Omanyala stated that when parents give an opportunity to their children to showcase their talents, they will do it with passion and can end up being their perfect career. Also in attendance was Angela Okutoi, who noted that support from her family has enabled her to reach where she is. She also called on the amateur players to show their best and never give up no matter what. The event brought together different schools that engaged in tennis games.
You see, so many youngsters always see me here and they're happy to associate with me. And for me to come here is just to give them a hope that we are just like them and they can be whatever they want to be.
Tennis was the only sport actually I played while growing up, so I don't really know how to play any other sport other than tennis. So for me, I really take tennis as a big thing in my life, and I know it's going to take me places. So for me, tennis means a lot to me.
From the Nyayo National Stadium, Nairobi Water women's handball team has continued to prove superior in the league after thrashing Kenyatta University 41-13 in their league match played at the Nyayo National Stadium. Nairobi Water has had a smooth season and continue to top the table with 18 points. They remain unbeaten, winning all their 9 games, with Kenyatta University remaining 4th with 6 points. In the men's category, Rangers thrashed Desert Scorpions 33-24 and will now be struggling to make it to the top 10. NCPB lead the men's league with 22 points, followed by Black Mamba and Ulinzi, who take the 2nd position and 3rd respectively. And back on the international scene, Great Britain's Emma Raducanu is out of the Kenya Open after retiring injured from a semi-final against top seed Yelena Ostapenko. The 19-year-old took a medical timeout during the second set as she struggled with a left glute injury. She carried on as Ostapenko claimed the second but conceded the match to the Latvian in 4-6, 6-3, 3-0. Ostapenko will face second seed Ekaterina Alexandrova of Russia, who beat Germany's Tatiana Maria 6-2, 6-4. British number 1 Raducanu, who was playing in her first semi-final of a regular WTA Tour event, has struggled with various injuries and has retired mid-match on a number of occasions since winning the US Open in 2021. And that's all we have for you from the sports segment in this Legends edition. Hope that you tune in again next Saturday for another edition. But of course, remember, during the week, KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner, will always have something juicy on the sporting scene. Now we take a break before we hand over to Fayaz to wind up the show. I'm Topi Liambila for KBC Channel 1 Legends edition.
To get Change Your Thinking Skizatune, dial star 811 star 961 hash.
When you change the quality of your thinking, you change the quality of your life. Sometimes instantly, just as positive words can make someone calm, smile or laugh, your thoughts will react to the world in real time. So, change the quality of your thinking.
Dial star 811 star 961 hash. Star 811 star 961 hash.
The reason why I would want to be in politics is that having been born in a less fortunate family, I think when I look at how I grew up and how things are today in Makueni County being a semi-arid area, things have changed, but there's still so much that needs to be done.
Over the years I grew up and I kept on telling my father, one day I will come back to change this.
We have had an increase in the number of women who have been elected. 27 in 2017 to 30 in 2022.
I believe the constitutional position is that the position of the woman representative is supposed to be a preserve for the young women.
Welcome to the Living Legends. I am Fayaz Qureshi. In this edition of the Living Legends, we speak to a man who brought glory to this country when in the middle, as they would say in his sport, for 15 years. He has followed the path that his elder brothers took and has excelled as a player and now as a coach. He has been referred to as the best batsman to have never played Test cricket. 3,428 ODI runs, 345 T20 international runs, 4,728 first-class runs, and 6,100 List A runs. And we haven't counted the wickets taken yet. On the Living Legends, we hear the story of Steve Tikolo. Steve, welcome to the Living Legends. You're a true cricketing legend, and I've been a very big fan of yours for years. Growing up, watching you play cricket in the middle order and getting Kenya all those runs that we always needed, and you most of the time got them for us. Welcome to the Living Legends.
Thank you, Fayaz. Thank you for having me.
And Okay, let's start off. Let's talk about you. You're the focal point of our show. Talk us about your early life and schooling.
I was born in Park Road. Park Road is in Ngara area. A family of 10 kids. I was the second last born. Grew up in Park Road. Went to school at Pumwani Primary for the primary education. Then I went to Isili High School for the secondary education. Then I went to college at Computer Training Center for diploma in computer IT.
Oh, interesting. You were trained in computers, huh?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, tell us how it all happened. Of course, your brothers Tom and David had already picked up that bug as you grew up in Ngara. And how did this cricketing bug get to you?
Well, as young kids, Park Road is close to Saali Muslim Club. And Saali Muslim Club, cricket is played there. So as young kids, we used to go to Saali Muslim Club and watch the game. And that is how we picked up the interest. And by watching the games, by the side, we would play our own cricket matches as young boys. We used to use tennis balls and bats carved out of wood. As
most cricketers start off with tennis balls, don't they?
Yeah, you know, it's a replica to a hard ball.
Right. But so you kind of tape it up, right?
Yeah, tape it up
to give it that heaviness.
Yeah, but at the same time, a tennis ball is not as hard as the hard ball, so you know you don't get injured. And as we played the matches on the sides, we picked up the interest. Then later on, there's a gentleman. He's late now. His name is Premji Koda. Noticed the talent in us, and he's the one who took us up, and we started training with Swami Bapa Cricket Club. That is how we came up. Initially, it was my elder brothers, Tom Tikolo, David Tikolo. And
so your career started with Swami Bapa?
Yeah, my career started with Swami Bapa Cricket Club. Tom was already there. Tom and my other brother David, and some of the senior guys in Park Road, like the Suji brothers, the Odumbe brothers.
Yes.
So that is how we picked up cricket. And at Swami Bapa, I started off playing in the B side. There was the A side and the B side.
Yes, I do remember that.
I started off playing in the B side, and because of my performance in the B side, I was promoted to the senior side, which was the A team.
So sport in Kenya, besides athletics, in 1990 was an amateur kind of sport. What risk did you take in becoming a cricketer full-time?
At that time, you know, like I said, for us, the motivating factor was reading your name in the newspaper and wearing the Kenya jersey. As a young kid, my dream was to play for my country because my brothers were already there. So for me, they were role models who I was looking up to. I want to become like Tom. He's wearing the Kenya blazer, the Kenya jersey, and that was my motivation. At that time,
Kenya Cricket Association was being run very well.
Yeah, Kenya Cricket Association was being run well. There was a bit of funding coming from ICC, International Cricket Council, because Kenya was an associate country affiliated to ICC.
Now, getting your call up to the national team, how did this come about? And of course, with Tom, your brother, as captain.
My first call up was 1991. I missed out 1990 when the team traveled to Holland to play in the ICC trophy.
Okay.
Had done very well in the league. I had scored about 900 runs.
Wow.
I was second on the table to the top guy was a professional from India, Sandeep Patil, and I was second with 900 runs.
You were second?
Yeah. But I missed out. I was 19 then. I missed out because of disciplinary issues. There's an incident that happened in a final match. We were playing against Aga Khan and words were exchanged. Almost we came to blows. You know, you're still young and adrenaline running.
No, but that's, I think, growing up, sporty abilities and fighting for your team. The rivalry comes in, you know, so it's expected.
Yeah, I was disciplined. I was banned for 3 games and I missed out on that national tour because of that. And that is why I said, Steve, you must never ever again give selectors a chance to drop you because of disciplinary issues. Let them drop you because you're not performing, your form is poor. But other side shows...
But let's put it this way, there was a lesson well learned.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
came at an early point in your time, in your career, and you made sure that would never happen again.
Yeah, so then the following year again I performed well, and my first call-up was against county side from England, Lancashire County. They had come to tour Kenya. That is the first break I got to play for the national team. Wow, you played
for Lancashire, huh?
Yeah.
How was the experience?
It was good. Initially, I was overawed, being 19, 20 years playing for the national team for the first time, fear, jitters, butterflies in the stomach. So the first game I didn't get runs, but the second game I got a 50. And, for me that was something to cherish.
To cherish, 100% at an international level, which is pretty good. Now, Kenya qualified for the 1996 Cricket World Cup. What was the feeling? And making your debut against India?
Yeah, so after the debut against Lancashire, we had about three years before the next ICC, they used to call it ICC Trophy, which was a qualifier to the World Cup for associate countries. The ICC Trophy was held in Nairobi 1994, and we came second to UAE. That is how we qualified for the 96 World Cup. Again, in the 1994 ICC Trophy, myself and Maurice Odumbe were the highest run scorers for the Kenya team, and that ensured that Kenya qualified for the 96 World Cup. Now, going to the 96 World Cup was something huge for us.
Huge.
Kenya playing in the World Cup.
Now, the most important thing about that 96 World Cup, when you beat the West Indies, I mean, headlines across the globe. People couldn't believe it. Kenya beats the West Indies. And how did this change the perception of Kenyan cricket after that win over West Indies?
That win did a lot for us. I remember once the game was over, we didn't realize what we had done. It was only 2-3 days later that we realized.
I mean, your appearance at the World Cup, people must have said they'll get experience and they'll go back home. But winning West Indies was just unbelievable.
Yeah, and West Indies being 2 times world champions.
Yes. They ruled cricket for so many decades. And to beat West Indies was such an amazing achievement.
Yeah, and so that victory changed a lot for Kenya cricket. Even now, the management of Kenya cricket started looking at the game in a positive way that, we can make this become a very big sport.
Now, the 1999 World Cup was a huge challenge for Kenya. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, 99 World Cup was in England. Very tough conditions to play cricket in. So, there were challenges both on
you have to go back, I mean, you have to go there and acclimatize, change of weather, the ball swinging so much, your batting expertise comes to the fore.
But at that time, because of limited resources, Kenya Cricket Association didn't have enough funds. So we went, I think, a few days before the tournament started. We didn't have that opportunity to, really acclimatize. But yeah, it was a challenge. We didn't win any game in that tournament. But we were competitive in the games, but lost all the games.
But I think, like I said, you learn from these experiences, yeah? Now, you actually had Unga flown to the UK so that you could have ugali. Tell us more about this.
I think the guys, guys wanted something from home, food from home. We had gotten used to burgers and chips and all that. Yeah. So in one of the team meetings, I think it was Maurice who said, we're missing food from home. And because Emirates was the official sponsors of the World Cup.
Right.
Our team manager, the late Harry, put in a good word for us to the Emirates that if we get a bale of unga from Nairobi, would you guys fly it over to London? Yeah. And they said, yeah, why not? So unga was flown to London, and we cooked ugali. We were allowed into one of the kitchens of the hotel we were staying at.
Right.
And it is us players who cooked the ugali.
Wow. Fantastic. Now, 2003, the journey to the semis before Sourav Ganguly won it for India. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, that journey started immediately after the 99 World Cup.
Yeah.
Kenya Cricket Association saw it fit to get as a full-time coach, Sandeep Patil. Prior to that, the coaches used to come maybe 2-3 months before the tournament.
Right.
Before that, it was the late Hanuman Singh. And then 99, they got Patil on board. So we had Sandeep Patil from 99 to 2003. He was based here in Kenya. So we were training full-time. And during that period also, late 98, breweries came on board, Kenya breweries.
As sponsors.
As sponsors. And this allowed the players to have a salary where now you're a full-time cricketer. Your job,
paid.
Your job is to practice and play cricket.
Did it make a difference having an international coach?
It did. It did big time, Fayaz, because the things that Sandeep Patil brought on board, game awareness, tactics, skills, working on your skills, really helped us. And during that phase, we also played a lot of cricket. We had teams coming to Kenya from India, the Ranji Trophy teams. We had teams from South Africa, the province teams. We also used to travel to Sri Lanka, play Sri Lanka A, Pakistan A, India A. So we had a lot of cricket during that period, 99 to 2003. And the team gelled so well. We had become different players just because you're now a full-time cricketer, practicing, playing cricket, talking cricket, sleeping cricket. And the results were there to be seen in 2003.
Incentives were given, and it does make a difference.
Yeah, it does. It does. Incentives were given because now KCA had a sponsor. They could afford to say, guys, if you win a game, you get extra amount. Apart from your salary, you get extra amount. If you win a tournament, there's extra amount. So
that inspires you?
Definitely it does, because, you know, apart from your salary, you want to earn that extra shilling.
100%. Now, there were disputes about contracts around this time. The Kenya Cricket Association having their perception, the players having theirs. How did you resolve these disputes, and how did this affect the local game?
During that time, the disputes that were there was just before the 2003 World Cup. The contracts we had as players, there was a clause that said, if we go to the World Cup, whatever monies KCA would get from the World Cup as profits, 25% would come to the players.
Right.
But when the World Cup was near, I think the guys in KCA wanted to play, be funny with that clause. And that is why the players said, no, we have contracts, we have to go with the contracts. Whatever is in the contract, whatever is due to us, we must get that. But that was resolved. We sat down with the Kenya Cricket Board, and that was resolved. This was prior
it was eventually sorted out.
Yeah, this was prior to the 2003 World Cup.
Which was pretty good for Kenyan cricketers at that point in time.
Definitely, as a cricketer or a sports person, when you go to play in different conditions against different players, you learn a lot. And what you've learned, you bring back to the national team.
Plus, it showed that Kenyan cricketers were being appreciated for their talent.
Definitely,
and people were looking at you and recognizing you, your abilities and your talent. You left the scene around 2009 and went into coaching. How was this transition?
After the 2009 was a qualifier for the 2011 World Cup. I was the captain then. After the
going back, you actually became the captain for Kenya from 2002 till 2009.
Yeah.
In fact, you captained 2 World Cups, right?
Yeah, the 2003 and 2007 in the West Indies.
Right.
Yeah, so 2009, after the qualifier, which was in South Africa, we qualified for the 2011 World Cup, is when I stepped down as a captain. I felt my time as a captain had come to an end.
I think you just know as a sportsman when to step down.
Yeah. So you let a young player take over, because 2009, you give them something like 2 years to prepare for the 2011 World Cup.
Yeah.
So after that, I moved to Zimbabwe, where I was appointed coach player of the Southern Rocks franchise. So I was in Zimbabwe for 2 years, 2009 and 2010. And then 2011, Cricket Kenya asked me to come back and play in the 2011 World Cup. They needed a number of senior players in the team, because at that time the team had a lot of juniors.
Oh, so there was a comeback, huh?
Yeah.
2011, you were there?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
It was a comeback. So I agreed because my country was calling
it was very, very important. Yeah. A call from your country. Why would you say no?
Yeah, to come back and be part of that World Cup.
It's an extreme honor.
So we went to the 2011 World Cup in India. Things didn't go well. We didn't win even a single game. But for me, it was more of the younger guys growing up.
Now, coaching, you created two monsters, Uganda and Tanzania. They're now beating us. What has been the journey of developing the sport in these countries?
Before I went to Uganda, I was coach of the Kenya Under-19 for 1 year. We missed out on the World Cup. We lost to Namibia in the finals of the qualifier, which was very painful. And then after that year, I was made the coach of the senior team, which I did for 2 years. Then I moved to Uganda in 2016. Uganda was with them from 2016 to 2019. And when I went to Uganda, their cricket was at a low level. And I worked very hard for those 4 years to bring. So I left Uganda end of 2019, got a 2-year contract with Tanzania 2020 and 2021. Again, Tanzania's cricket was at a low level. Those 2 years, they were the 2 years of COVID. I worked very hard with the players just to change a number of things, their playing styles, tactics.
So these two countries really have to thank you. And us Kenyans, where we could have used you even more, we didn't. Sad state of affairs. Now, what would be your advice to those in charge of sport today, coming to that?
I think our sports is where it is at. When you look at cricket, look at football, rugby is also going down. For me, I think it's just poor management. And I've never shied away from saying this. We don't manage our sports very well.
I think constructive criticism is important.
We don't manage our sports very well. I think when you look at people who come to run sports, for me the intentions are not the bigger picture, which is the game, and raise the level of the game. For me, it's usually individual people wanting to benefit from what is there, if it's financial or using it as a stepping stone to other things like politics and become an MP, become a cabinet minister. So it's never the sports
which matters. It's just being used as a stepping stone to go other places.
Yeah.
Which is sad, isn't it?
So if we can get administrators who
are dedicated
and want the sports to move forward, I think it can be a very good thing, because the talent is there. Fayaz, the talent is there. In cricket, I see boys who play exceptional cricket, but if the management is not right, it will not trickle down.
It won't trickle down.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you about your next plan, but before that, give me a memorable moment of your cricketing career.
I think the 2003 World Cup, being the captain of the team, and how the team did well to get to the semi-finals of the World Cup. And just being with that team, like I said, that journey started 99 to 2003. Having that group, the way we were, we were like a family. Everyone was ready to die for the next guy. Yeah. Everyone was ready to die for the next guy. And how we grew up as a strong unit to compete in the World Cup. I remember
beat Australia, right? In 2003, was it?
No, very close. We came very close.
You came very close to beat them. Sorry, you became
the game that Asif picked 3 wickets.
3 wickets.
But in that tournament, we beat Bangladesh, we beat Zimbabwe, we got 2 points from New Zealand, who refused to come to Nairobi, and we beat Sri Lanka at home.
You were in the semi-finals of a World Cup. Even if you didn't win the World Cup, you were in the semi-finals. Kenya was in the semi-finals.
Can you imagine?
That was such amazing achievement.
So
I hope, can we get back to those glory days?
No, we can. If things are put right, we can. Because like I said, the talent is there.
But we need people like you at the helm of management, who's dedicated, who understands the sport.
Yeah, but the politics that is played up there, they might not allow people like us to even get close to the chairmanship. There's a lot of politics that is played.
I really wish you all the best. What is your next plan?
My next plan...
for a legend like you?
I've gotten a number of offers to go and coach outside. Nigeria have called. I've got 2 calls, one from the US and one from South Africa. So at the moment, I'm weighing my options.
And I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Steve Tikolo, a true cricketing living legend. Thank you so much for gracing this show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Fayaz, for having me.
Asante sana.
Asante.
It has been a pleasure speaking to Steve Tikolo, Kenya's top batsman in cricket and a former captain of the side. He worked as a coach in Uganda and Tanzania, and now those sides are giving Kenya a run for their money. He still wants to work more to develop the sport that made him an easily recognizable figure in global cricket. Guns, as they call him, has fired from all barrels today. Thank you for watching. I am Fayaz Qureshi. A true cricketing legend, Steve Tikolo, one of the most prolific batsmen I have ever come across. And it was a humbling experience speaking to a great legend. And that's all from our newsroom. Join us next week at 9 p.m. for the Legends edition only on KBC Channel 1. Our sign language interpreter for tonight's edition was Lucy Maura. I am Fayaz Qureshi. Have a good night. I sweat like